Hello and welcome to round 10 here at Grand Prix Indianapolis. Marie Bartholdi in the booth, joined by Pro Tour champion Jacob Van Lunen and Pro Tour, not really a champion, but all-around great guy, Rich Hagen.
Now, we could have started on Greg Orange against Owen Turtenwald, or we could have started on Daniel Weiser against Reed Duke. But who wouldn't want to commentate on Jansen-Jensen?
All right, let's see if we can keep this tongue twister in check. Jensen, here we go. Miscloaked Herald down on the table for William Huey Jensen. Follow-up play is a
Shaper Apprentice.
Shaper Apprentice. I was like almost there.
I know you know.
I know the Rivals card's better than the normal Ixalan cards at this point. Wow, Merfolk Mistbinder here for William Jensen. Boom! In comes the team, giving them all +1/+1, the new Merfolk Lord.
Well then, that's a little bit impressive.
I'm going to say I like Huey's start a little bit better than Adam Jansen's start.
Yeah,
both
like
playing the same colors here.
Yeah, a little bit of a Merfolk mirror match here. Huey's deck working out a little bit better this round.
Wow, that's incredible.
Is this game over? Literally, that's it? Sweep up your permanents?
I think so. I think it obviously could turn out that other things happen, but at this point, you know, Huey has 2 evasive threats, attacking for 5 a turn. Jansen's going to be at 9 by the end of this turn at the very least.
Jungleborn Pioneer does provide him with 2 blockers on the ground, but as you said, both of Huey's threats are evasive, and, well, one of them's getting locked down now. Water Trap Weaver ices down that Jungleborn Pioneer. Yeah, Jansen's already in chump block mode. Down goes his Merfolk to that Merfolk Mistbinder. Merfolk on Merfolk violence here. Game 1, round 10.
Why can't they learn to get along? Seize.
Who did you vote for, by the way, who would control Araska?
See, now there's a word for that kind of question, isn't there? Where there's an assumption in the question inherent that he voted.
That's true. I'm going to take it you didn't vote.
Maria, he's not old enough to vote.
I was really excited to vote, so. River Herald's Boon slamming the door shut here. Jensen on Jansen.
Pretty reasonable card there, River Herald.
Especially in somebody like Huey's deck, which is nothing but Merfolk from the looks of it. Yeah, so far it has been.
Every one of these creatures has 3 power. Jansen's life total is 3, and there are 5 creatures on Huey's side of the board.
Yeah. Is it just me, or is it all these Hall of Famers who'd like win game 1 inside 2 minutes? It's outrageous. It was Paolo last game. Let's get over to table A. Orange against Turtenwald. That's much easier to deal with. And Greg Orange is sitting there with a treasure. And Owen Turtenwald, part of the reason that that's all he's got is there's a Legion Lieutenant, a Sky March Aspirant, there's a Ravenous Chupacabra. Sure, there's a Baffling End getting rid of a Sailor of Means, but bad times for Greg Orange.
Yeah, Owen's deck, pretty strong Vampires deck. We saw him playing these colors yesterday. Walk the Plank here will deal with that Fathom Fleet border, but a Dive Down has something to say about that from Gregory Orange. Wow, a little bit of a fight here. Vanquish the Weak over that Fathom Fleet border will finally take it down.
And
that'll do it.
3.5 minutes in.
Wow.
1-0. 1-0.
All right, 2 to the good for Peach Garden Oath.
So presumably the only hope on table C is that they're still shuffling. No, we're underway, which means presumably Reed Duke's almost won.
All right, Reed Duke, we saw a little bit of his deck last round. Red-green dinos. He had some exciting things in it, including Gulta Primal Hunger.
Oh my god, chat's joining the fun. EBL says, so Orange getting squeezed, and then gave me permission to use the joke on air. So.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Fire Cannon Blast here will take down that Drover of the Mighty from Reed Duke.
I didn't see much.
And Bombard deals with that Bishop Soldier. In comes the Fanatical Firebrand for just a single point of damage, which normally isn't a card you would expect to see in sealed. Just a little 1/1 for 1.
Yeah, and this seal format's a bit different, though. The fact that it lets other cards trade up, it does pretty well against some of the 1 toughness things that people are playing. Some pretty good threats. Things like Shaper Apprentice have 1 toughness. And it's also just a very aggressive format. Having that hasty body that's also a pirate can be kind of nice.
Glorifier of Duck here from Daniel-Weiser.
Did you just say duck?
Did I?
Glorifier of Duck?
Did I? I don't know.
Did
like
I think I've been to that restaurant too, Rashad.
It was in Richmond, I think. Yeah.
I would definitely play a format where there is a card called Glorifier of Duck.
Not that we're going to call our fellow commentators out on air or anything, but that was outstanding.
Wow, I said it was such authority too.
Yeah.
I believed you.
Stormfleet's Swashbuckler here from Reed Duke.
That's really thrown you, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, it has.
Sorry. I'll tell you what. Here we go. I'll put something else up. So no one will ever remember. It's not being recorded. No one's watching. They'll never know.
Well, I'm certainly going to just call that card Glorifier of Duck, too. Yeah. It's almost as good as yesterday when I said Radiant Density with complete certainty.
Yeah. Johnny Katz wants to know, was it cast by Reed Duck? But no, it was Daniel-Weiser who did that, so...
Exultant Sky Marcher in play for Dan. One of my favorite vampires in this new set.
Yeah, it's a sweet card.
Forerunner of the Empire here for Reed Duke. What will he get? We know he has some fun stuff, including Needletooth Raptor. He has Ripjaw Raptor, and of course, Galta.
Oh my God, what have we done? Chat says Stormfleet Swashbuckler.
High five, chat.
Yeah,
High five.
Well
I like that one.
A+.
Skullduggery, Swashduckling.
Swashduckling, that sounds cute.
Yeah.
Like a little duck, baby duck with a sword. All right, Ripjaw Raptor is the choice here for Reed Duke. Pretty good one.
Yeah, with Weiser at 20, it's probably wiser of Duke to go and grab a card like Ripjaw Raptor and give him an advantage over time, as opposed to grabbing something like Needletooth Raptor, where if he was applying a lot of pressure on his opponent, that'd be the better card to grab, because let him end the game in short order.
So Reed Duke will be able to potentially draw a lot of cards very quickly off this Ripjaw Raptor if this Forerunner stays in play. I love that Enrage got better with the addition of Rivals.
Absolutely. Forerunner's a big part of that.
Yeah.
Deloro Delano, we understand. You've come to watch the game, not listen to the giggling. We'll calm down for at least 30. Stop it. Stop it. No, actually stop it. There we go. He stopped it. Good.
We've done it.
We've done it. Proper magic now.
Repeating Barrage here from Daniel-Weiser.
Using that raid ability to return it from his graveyard back to his hand.
Reed Duke getting in there with some beats, though. Here comes the Raptor. Ping, draw.
Yeah, there we see the
beautiful combo.
The Forerunner trigger happen, and now Reed's going to be drawing an extra card every time he plays a dinosaur, as long as this Forerunner and Raptor stay in play. If Daniel wants to break himself out of this situation, he's going to have to use something like Repeating Barrage on a 1/3. Doesn't seem like a winning proposition for him.
Yeah, and by the way, that Ripjaw Raptor would still be in play too. So.
Attention Magic players, can I have Daniel Schaefer over to the red gathering point, please?
Ixalan's Binding will deal with that Raptor.
That's a nice answer.
Yeah, and we know he has that Repeating Barrage in hand.
Such great art on Ixalan's Binding. I love that card.
Jace is so sad. And there we go. Down goes the Forerunner of the Empire to that Repeating Barrage.
He's lost.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where he is.
No memory.
Poor guy.
Repeating Barrage, definitely a card that I'm very happy to open in any sealed pool. Crested Herd Caller here from Reed Duke, who is just playing all of the best dinosaurs, it seems. Coming along with a 3/3 friend. By the way, Crafty Coin Pursed the token off of Crested Herd Caller once.
I sided that in an attempt to take a Rekindling Phoenix token.
Oh, yeah?
Because they also had Crested Herd Caller.
Sure.
And I just lost anyway because they just like played the Rekindling Phoenix and killed me with a 4-power flyer.
A reminder that we're early in round 10 here. Once we hit round 11, we will be into MTG Red Zone. That's our much more serious show, it must be said, where we bring you all the action as we head towards the top 8. 4 rounds. Marshall and Kenji will be here for rounds 11 and 13. Marie and JVL will be back for 12 and 14. Very much full focus on all the matches and the magic that matters. And then we'll get into our top 4. You'll see 2 semi-finalists draft. Then you'll see both semi-finals. We'll get a time walk semi-final for you, as it were. And then 2 finalists drafting. And then the final itself in Sunday Night Magic, which is our flagship top 8 or top 4 in this case show. So this is the last round of Good Morning Magic, which does attempt to take a slightly more casual tone. JVL, you got something?
Yeah, so last turn we saw Weiser. He changed gears here. He had been using the Repeating Barrage to control Reed Duke's board. I've been doing a very good job of that to abuse Duke's slow start. But now he realized Reed Duke was at 10 life. With the attack, with his flyer, using the Repeating Barrage, targeting Reed Duke in the face, he knows that he has a 2-turn clock here. So now, passing the turn back, he can attack for 2, putting Reed down to 3, use the ability, the raid ability on the Repeating Barrage, get it back from his graveyard, and give himself a win over the course of 2 turns.
That's awesome. And there it is. Reed Duke scoops him up.
So that was good for Orange-Jansen-Weiser because they were 1 game down in the other 2 matches. And someone was asking, what are the brackets for? Turtenwald has 3 next to his name. Jensen has 8. Reed Duke has 2. Maria, what's that about?
All right, so Reed Duke, second best player in the world according to the top 25 pro player rankings. William Huey Jensen, 8. Owen Turtenwald, 3. Stack team.
Just 3 of the top 10 players in the world currently. Yeah. So off we go again with Owen Turtenwald against Greg Orange. We saw Owen overrun Orange in the first game, but not looking quite so bad this time around. There's a Direfleet Netbreaker in play for Greg Orange, which is a pretty aggressive card.
Yeah, and a forerunner of the Coalition, it should be noted, which is a way to get damage kind of out of nowhere with the addition of more pirates.
And Owen at just 4, it's going to be tough for him to race this on the other side of the table. It's a pretty aggressive attack. It leads me to believe that he could have something. It could just be...
Wrong forerunner again there, Rich. Coalition. Nope, not the Heralds. Coalition. We've been over this.
Happy.
There we go. Paladin the Bloodstain in play for Owen Turtenwald. We'll get a point of life off of that life-linking vampire creature token, which is going to be helpful, but not quite helpful enough because that Siren Reaver is a pirate.
Yep.
All right, so we move on. Reminder that we'll have a Time Warp match coming later on this round. We'll show you as much action of that as we can, but the rounds are coming thick and fast. So let's head across to Table B. We're back with Jansen and Jensen, which is where we started.
All right, so here we go. William Huey Jensen with another, it looks like, very explosive start. We have a Curious Obsession on that Kite Sail Corsair for him as well, which is a pretty back-breaking combo if gone unanswered. Adam Jansen trying to keep up here. Does have a flyer available to him in the air. And just a Jade Bearer on the ground right now. Exali's Diviner will explore. Finds a Gilt Grove Stalker in foil. Hits the bin, though. William Jensen at 2.
In a dangerous situation here.
All right, he passes turn back over to Huey. Water Trap Weaver will lock down.
It looks like that's 9 damage, so Huey able to win completely out of nowhere at 2 life. Looked like he was in a really dangerous situation, but able to tap down Jansen's team and steal the game away.
So William Huey Jensen picking up the first match of this round 10 here at Grand Prix Indianapolis for Peach Garden Oath. Still some work to do, though. Owen Turtenwald, Greg Orange tied at 1 game apiece. Daniel Weiser up 1 game over Reed Duke currently.
You know, I played in Grand Prix New Jersey, which was just Ixalan sealed, and I saw Tempest Caller steal a lot of games there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said Water Trap Reaver. I meant Tempest Caller. Yeah, it tapped down the whole team.
And I feel like this weekend, I haven't seen that card once until that game.
No, neither have I.
Yeah, you get less packs of Ixalan. The decks get a little more focused. It's just a card you're not going to see as much. It's a card that's particularly strong against vampire opponents, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, when I'm playing vampires and I'm playing against these Merfolk decks, Tempest Caller is always, one of the cards I'm most afraid of, because my whole plan is to, hide behind this wall of tokens and, use lifelink to my advantage to kind of squeak through or put myself in a favorable racing situation. And Tempest Caller is really a backbreaking card in that regard.
So we're underway at Table C. Once again, Daniel Weiser 1-0 up on Reed Duke, and Duke has the only non-land permanent in play. 3 turns in, so a sluggish start from both players.
Reed Duke getting in there with that Fanatical Firebrand for a single point of damage. Nothing in play yet for Daniel Weiser, whose red-white colors would imply that he wants to be aggressive.
Yeah, Reed Duke, another slow start here. The last game he had a slow start, and Weiser was able to take advantage of that and have a flyer in conjunction with Repeating Barrage. Kind of just took the game over.
Here we go. Ripjaw Raptor from Reed Duke right on time on turn 4. No play yet from Dan. Forerunner of the Empire. Well, that's a familiar card for Reed Duke. Let's see what Daniel Weiser is able to search up here.
Ripjaw. I brought it to the floor. I tamed my Forest Mountains. I made it on turn 4. That's the Ripjaw rap.
Oh, that's pretty good, Rich.
The Ripjaw Rapper. I like it. So, an interesting thing that's going on here, though. Yes, the Forerunner of the Empire, very powerful card here. Very powerful alongside that Needletooth Raptor. The thing is that Reed Duke, when that Forerunner trigger happens, that could
it's going to hit his Raptor.
Yeah, it'll hit the Raptor, plus Reed Duke can sacrifice his Firebrand, dealing another damage to the Raptor. And then, when Weiser tries to use the Needletooth to kill off the Raptor, that's going to draw Reed another card. So Reed Duke, even though his board could potentially get cleared if he doesn't have another addition for it for the next turn, he's going to draw 3 cards in the process.
That's awesome. I love how Reed Duke has built his deck around Enrage as well.
Mm-hmm. And when your opponent's deck is built around the Enrage mechanic, Forerunner of the Empire becomes significantly weaker. Oh, look. Rich put up the right one.
There it is, Forerunner of the Empire. Of course, Weiser does have the option, as the ping ability is a May on Forerunner of the Empire. And there is Reed Duke's Forerunner of his own, so now he can do whatever he wants.
Right. I tell you what, let's follow where the story goes, because Greg Orange and Owen Turtenwald could be the decider here, because with William Jensen already winning, even if Weiser beats Reed Duke, that won't be the round. But right now, Owen Turtenwald can win the round for the Peach Garden Oath by beating Greg Orange. So let's head across and see what's going on. Well, it isn't a blowout. It's still early. It looks like roundabout turn 4. We've seen a Vanquish the Week, Evolving Wilds, gone away. Stormfleet Spy in the graveyard for Greg Orange. And he now has Direfleet Hoarder, but Profane Procession is over there for Owen Turtenwald. Let's take it from there. Maria.
All right, Profane Profession is going to steal that Deadeye Rig Hauler, but a pair of Kitesail Corsairs for Gregory Orange. Says, I'm going to get in the air, and I'm going to get in fast. Owen Turtenwald on 14, Greg Orange 17. Profane Procession, is it too slow? Sky Marcher Aspirant here for Turtenwald. No City's Blessing yet.
You know, when I first read Profane Procession, I thought to myself, is this too slow to be as absurd as it looks? I know it's going to be very good, and as it turned out, it was not. It was just absolutely absurd every time I saw it played. But this seems like it could be the one scenario in which Profane Procession is, just not quite enough. But from the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah, incidentally, for chat wondering how I worked out it wasn't a blowout, I started at the top and got to Profane Procession last.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
March of the Drowned is going to get back that Stormfleet Spy for Gregory Orange, who's immediately going to cast it again. Raid Trigger, draw a card. So far, Turtenwald's managed to steal 2. of Orange's creatures. That Profane Procession will flip if he steals a third. Then he'll be able to start casting them as his own creatures.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's really just disgusting.
I mean,
so good.
Pack one, pick one. That's what I want to see. Profane Possession.
But you also love vampires.
I do.
So it's like
It's
you get
true.
to be in your deck of choice and have, you know, one of the best cards in the set.
Raptor Companion here for Turtenwald. Notably 5 mana up. Suspicious.
Yeah, and I mean, Owen has everything shored up at this point. He can exile the flyer that Gregory Orange has there. He can trade the ground creature, and at that point, he's going to be flipping this Profane Procession, and then he starts getting creatures for free if he wants them.
Yeah, we'll see if we can bring Profane Procession up onto screen for you. Get a little look at it. 5 is a lot as a thing, but getting very close to being able to transform. And when we do, that is what is on the way.
Tomb of the Dusk Rose. Fabulous name for a card. Pay 4. Tap and put a creature exiled with this permanent onto the battlefield under your control.
Stunning art as well on that.
Ooh, an Impale here taking down
A Raptor Companion?
Raptor Companion. Greg Orange is all in on this race. Kitesail Corsair will be the 3rd card nabbed with that procession. And there it goes. It flips. Those 3 cards living in exile, able to be cast by Owen Turtenwald if he pays 4.
And I think he may consider that a viable rate.
Yes, I do think so.
Absolutely. The cards even combo together nicely. It's just disgusting here.
So,
Legion's Lieutenant.
yeah, that's
For Owen Turtenwald here will help buff up any other vampires he decides to play. Left himself enough mana to play some of Orange's cards.
Do you know, I know what that card is that Greg Orange has just played. It's a forerunner of the Coalition.
Nailed it.
Very good.
Nailed it. All right, we'll see what pirate Orange is searching up here.
You know, that Legion Lieutenant, quite good in Owen's deck because his deck is full of vampires. But at this point, he's probably looking to just trade it off as aggressively as possible. His life total at 10, he knows that he has those 3 cards right there. And he can eventually get those into play. And all he really needs to do is to survive because he's going to have the card advantage game locked up.
And here we see Siren Reaver is the choice of Gregory Orange to put on the top of the deck with that forerunner of the Coalition. But as you can see, whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. So if that forerunner stays in play, it's kind of a little bit of inevitability for Greg Orange as well. Ooh, here we go. A nice little splash from Orange on a Direfleet Neckbreaker, which, guess what? All his cards are on the table right now. Pirates attacking pirates you control get +2/+0. Instant speed activation here of Tomb of the Dusk Rose from Owen Turtenwald. His creatures, like you said, JVL just jumping in front, doing some trading. Owen Turtenwald at 9.
A scary situation here for Owen.
Quite a lot of people in chat pointing out that the creatures he stole with the Profane Procession are not that exciting.
That's okay. Sometimes you're stealing things just to survive. And, you know, there's still cards that can trade with what Gregory Orange has on the table. Like, both of those cards trade with Direfleet Neckbreaker. Both of those cards trade with Forerunner of the Coalition. So, even though they're not the most impressive cards per se, the fact that they're able to trade with additional cards from Gregory Orange, and he's already used the Profane Procession to deal with 3 of Gregory Orange's cards, that means over the course of Profane Procession's value train, he's going to be getting 6 cards.
6 for 1 is what Chad is saying. Yeah, you know, it's still a 6 for 1.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Fair.
You know?
Yeah.
Owen here, a bit in the tank.
It's certainly not a good feeling if you get near full value.
That Direfleet Neckbreaker forced to walk the plank.
And this time we don't need an argument over it. It's just the walk the plank worked.
Yep. And that has to be a question for him, too. Like, do you choose the neckbreaker or do you choose the Forerunner, which represents 1 damage every time a pirate enters the battlefield?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a difficult question, too, because he knows that he has those 2 creatures in his yard right now that both have the ability to trade with either of these creatures. That Forerunner is going to deal him damage on the following turn, no matter what.
All right, there we go. Ping off of the Forerunner. The Siren Reaver enters play. And as you might expect, Owen casts, or rather puts into play that Kitesail Corsair that he had exiled.
Which, lest we forget, doesn't have flying.
No, cannot block that Reaver. Moment of Craving, though, from Turtenwald is able to deal with it. Owen down to 8 life. All right, he's choosing to swing in. In comes the Corsair. Greg Orange knocked down to 15.
Is there a raid thing coming, or just...
Yeah, he has the Deadeye Rig Hauler that he had exiled, but...
Anointed Deacon.
Even better.
Not 2 cards you usually see in play next to one another. I suppose that can happen when you're playing your opponent's cards.
Yeah, now.
All right, both are going to swing in. Anointed Deacon will pump itself.
And Owen didn't do much. I mean, he was on the back foot here, just trading as aggressively as he could. The Profane Procession kind of did all the work.
And that is a 7-point life swing. Ravenous Chupacabra will take down that Forerunner, and Owen Turtenwald has managed to come back from quite a severe deficit versus Greg Orange to take home this match for the Peach Garden Oath.
And not just the match, but the whole round, because Turtenwald defeats Orange, Jensen defeated Jansen. The Weiser Duke match did not matter. Why don't we get a word with Owen Turtenwald? Owen, who we had a chat with yesterday. We'll find out what's going on today with him. And the Peach Garden Oath survive, at least for another round. They get to 8-2, which is fantastic stuff. We have a time warp match on the way. Marie, who are we going to see? All
right, we have Party, Utter Layton, and Matt Nass versus Bruni, Schmidt, and Schmidt will be our time walk match. Both teams on 21 points currently.
Okay. So that's very much a kind of, again, a classic pro trio versus people who've just, gathered friends and are having a great
they're from Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Is that a real place?
It sure is. It's where I went to college.
Is that as in Oshkosh, Begosh? Is that where that thing came from?
It is, yeah.
Live and learn. Perhaps you all knew that. I didn't. Anyway.
That's where everybody gets their overalls, right? Oshkosh, Begosh.
Begosh, yeah. Okay.
When they're like 3.
All right, so down on the floor, one of the Peach Garden Oath is going to stick a headset on and talk us through a little bit about that match in just a minute. A reminder there were 2 and in fact, there is William Jensen. Billy, it's Rich Hagan alongside Maria Bartoldi and JVL. Congratulations on a nice win there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, all looked very smooth and relatively straightforward. What are the decks like this morning?
Pretty standard blue-green merfolk for me, red-green dinosaurs for Reed, and white-black vampires for Owen.
I know that all 3 of you can do a lot of maths when it comes to it. Have you looked at the size of the field and gone 35 tables, only 70 teams? Have you worked out what might be needed for top 4?
No. We basically just try to win our matches. It's too difficult and almost irrelevant. I mean,
sure.
We could maybe figure out exactly what we think is going to happen, but it doesn't really change the fact, in the first few rounds, we just want to win our matches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I have a question about your decks today versus yesterday. Was it more of a challenge to build today?
No, today was very simple. Yesterday was much more challenging because our pools are a bit better today, even though we lost the first round. Today was much more simple and straightforward. We thought that the decks, at least the white-black deck, kind of built itself. It was very obvious we were going to play that very quickly. Yesterday, the third deck was a lot more shallow. We had a lot more options and tried to figure out what the least bad one was. We sort of didn't have that problem today.
All right, well, great stuff. Thanks so much for being with us. Good luck with the rest of the day, and we'll see you later on.
All right, thanks.
William Jensen there down on the floor. So we are just about done for our main match here in round number 10, the last round of Good Morning Magic. We're going to transition into MTG Red Zone, all the matches that matter. But we had so many great teams coming in, JVL. Teams is always meant to be a format where the best shine, and generally we find that that's true.
Absolutely.
But it really seems to have been true this weekend in terms of when we looked at the 7-1s that were coming in overnight.
Yeah, I mean, almost all the teams that we had talked about at the beginning of day one, those teams were 7-1, or the one team, obviously, 8-0 coming into today. Team tournaments are kind of an opportunity for the best players in the world to have, you know, an even greater chance of doing well than otherwise. I think sealed in general is the most skill intensive of all Magic formats. I think.
Why do you think that is?
I think it uses every single part of your Magic playing brain. You know, the part of Magic that I feel has been lost to time more than any other skill is the ability to deck build. And when you open up a bunch of packs and you have to build a deck out of it, and not just build a deck with your best cards per se, but build a deck that's a cohesive unit, a deck that works, you know, a deck that has a proper curve, a deck that's going to beat the decks that you're planning on playing against, knowing how you're going to sideboard with that deck against particular opponents. Sealed deck really tests all of those things harder than any other format. You cannot prepare for the event in the way that you can prepare for a constructed event or even for a draft event.
Well, something you can prepare for is Time Walk, and we're going to take about 4 minutes to do exactly that, and then it will be Time Walk time. See you in a